This episode of the Busted Wide Open podcast is brought to you by Blueberry. Blueberry offers the best media hosting, accurate listening stats, and their all-new PowerPress Deluxe sites, a no-setup WordPress website for your podcast with all the necessary links to share your show with the world built right in. If you currently produce a podcast and are looking for a better media host or looking to start a new one from scratch, head over to orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO and sign up for the best media hosting and a PowerPress Deluxe site to get your first month absolutely free. That's orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO, or just use the promo code BWO at checkout for your first month free. And with that said, enjoy the show.
Hello, you numpties. This is the villain, Marty Skell, and you're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome back to the Busted Wide Open podcast, our patron mailbag, episode number 18. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the show, everybody. And if you would like to ask a question and you're wondering how that gets done, it's really simple. You go over patreon.com/BWO and sign up for one of our tiers, and that will make you a patron, and that will make you eligible to ask questions on the patron mailbag episode, which is right here, right now is what we're doing. And what I've been looking forward to since the last one we did, Nick, because I love doing these. I always like getting fun questions from people that make this show run, which is our patrons. I'd like to give a quick shout out and a thank you to them right now, because without you guys, it'd be a lot harder to do this show.
It would. It absolutely would. Thank you guys for everything that you do and your contributions every single month. This show, we finally felt like it was important enough last fall for us to make a separate show just for the questions that you guys send in, so that we could, give you guys a little bit of mwah, thank you for everything that you do. We love you guys. If you guys would like to, if you're not a patron yet, you'd like to get in on some of that, head over to patreon.com/BWO and sign up for one of those exclusive reward tiers where you can get access to the ability to ask listener questions for this show that we'll answer live right here on YouTube, as well as copies of the show notes, bonus episodes, Skype calls with both of us, sweet swag, all kinds of good stuff available over there at patreon.com/BWO. And all of the other stuff you can find links to over at bwopodcast.com. But we're on Facebook. You want to be in the group. You want to be in the Discord. Follow us everywhere you can. But the biggest one is make sure you subscribe to us right here on YouTube. YouTube.com/BustedWideOpen. Even if you only listen to the audio podcast, it still helps us get to that $1,000 subscriber mark that we're really trying to get to, and we're about halfway there. So let's do something fun where we can get it there, I don't know, by Mania, and maybe we'll cook up something fun for us to do. We're getting there, for sure. But Ian, let's not waste much time. Let's get right into the questions.
Let's do it.
Kicking things off with Brandon. Says, hey guys, what are your top 10 matches between superstars past and present gimmicks you would have liked to have seen? Maybe mine would be WCW's Man of 1,004 Holds versus Le Champion, or Surfer Sting versus Crow Sting.
I don't know about top 10, but I can just start spitballing them. NWO Hogan versus, Hulkamania Hogan.
So this is the same superstar, just their different gimmicks is what we're doing.
Yeah. Like the different gimmicks they may have had. Like Dead Man Taker versus Biker Taker. Like, who would win? Obviously Dead Man Taker, because Biker Taker sucks. I said it. A triple threat between the three faces of Foley.
Oh, God, that would be good. Mankind versus Cactus Jack versus Dude Love.
Dude Love, yeah.
Oh! Give it to me.
Let's see. What other great, like, multiple gimmicks? I'd love to watch Kane squash Isaac Yankem DDS.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just like, what else?
I'd love to see. He said Man of 1,004 Holds. I'd love to see. Well, it's a little similar though. The more I think about it, Y2J versus Le Champion, but it's kind of the same gimmick, isn't it?
No, it's different Jerichos. It's cocky WCW young Jericho versus like salty old bastard Jericho. I'd be down to see that. You know, yeah. Or like okay, so let me continue to think of some. Ricochet versus Prince Puma.
Wow.
Naito, Ingobernable Naito versus Stardust Genius would be a cool one. My
gears are turning. You're just you're getting to them faster than me. I didn't look at these ahead. I kind of make it a point not to look at them until we get to the show because I want the responses to be natural. But when we do some of these, it kind of stumps me sometimes.
Right. You know, it happens to me too. I just happen to have had a bunch off the top of my head and now I'm slowing down.
Could we do Rocky Maivia versus the People's Champ?
Oh, that would be a squash match.
Yeah.
That'd be a squash match. I mean, I would love to see the most electrifying man in sports entertainment versus the sarcastic People's Champ coming right out of the Nation of Domination. You know, like $5,000 shirt Rock versus just post movie star Rock.
Yeah.
Um,
Fast and Furious jacked Rock versus Rocky Maivia.
Yeah. Jesus, that would have, dude. That would be interesting because that's very similar to like Le Champion versus Man of 1,004 Holes, like the older self versus younger self.
Pac versus Neville.
Pac would eat Neville alive.
He would.
Sami Zayn versus El Generico.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other people who've had major gimmick changes, you know, where it's as dramatic as like Surfer Sting and Crow Sting, where it's like major gimmick changes.
Pentagon Jr. versus Pentagon Dark.
That's not
about the same.
Yeah, they're kind of. Those are kind of the same.
They would just Sierra Miedo each other and.
That's all match.
Confused. It'd be all comedy.
All match.
Yeah.
It'd just be nothing but Sierra Miedo. All match. Never have a match. They just do like finger signs to each other. Like, start the damn match. Okay, we will, but first, Cero Miedo. Oh God, come on.
You don't tell me.
Get
what
on
to do,
with
Ref.
it. Yeah. I'm like looking around now. I'm trying to like spark my.
Cody versus the American Nightmare versus Stardust.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. There you go. Yeah. No, we'll keep brainstorming on this. There's a lot of good ones.
There's some good ones. That's do me a favor, Brandon. Start a thread in the Facebook group. That would be a good one to come up with.
Rated R Superstar versus Vampire Edge.
Oh, Brood Edge.
Yeah. Greatest entrance music ever. Greatest entrance ever. That entrance for Brood was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
So amazing. God damn.
The viscous fluid.
Oh, God. Fucking Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy versus Broken Matt Hardy.
Oh.
Like 2.0 version 2.0. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much, Brandon. That's a good one. Start a thread for us in the Facebook group if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Or I will, because those could keep coming.
And there's going to be a lot of people that have way better ones that we can get off the top of our heads.
Totally.
You know, that could go on for a long time. So.
Next up, Sean asks us, let's say Moxley takes the title at Revolution. Who would each of you like to see him feud with coming out of it? Thanks for being awesome. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. This is actually a good question, largely because this is why I don't think Moxley should win at Revolution is who the hell does he face after that? Like he's champion. Now what? It's just going to be, I mean, there's no one else but Jericho that could really be coming after him. He's taking care of Pac, whatever.
Pac.
I know. Just keep saying Pac. I keep saying Pac.
I want to say Pac, but I feel like I
always
say
Pac. It is Pac. I just keep saying Pac. I don't. It's like a weird.
It's like Ciampa, Gargano,
right.
Gargano.
Right.
The right way to say it is Ciampa and Gargano, but we always say Ciampa and Gargano for some reason.
I know. It's like we're trying to be cultured over here.
Yeah.
Yes, Pac and Gargano.
I wouldn't be mad at Pac getting a shot at this. Let's say he gets done with Kenny Omega, and then what's next for him?
He's doing something like, and it's already they would have to build him up, and I don't know if he'd be a credible threat. Like, this is why I don't think.
But no, my point is they're probably going to blow that off too with Omega Pac at this next one. So I think Pac might. You've got the history there. You've got He's a perfect opposite.
But you've got to have Pac beat Moxley, otherwise Pac is permanently damaged against Moxley. He's a guy you can never beat.
Yeah.
Right. So who does Moxley face if he wins the championship? Like, it's got to be more Inner Circle, like and that's seems redundant. It seems like, why not have Inner Circle cost Moxley the match, and then he continues to fight upwards against them?
Yeah,
I really like this. Is, to me, it seems like you can't put the title on Moxley at this point.
I agree.
Which means you have to have, as you said on the other show, a schmaz finish.
Yep.
You've got to have some sort of schmaz or some sort of way that Moxley doesn't win it here.
That's what I think.
And keep it on Jericho. Also, because there's still so much cachet in having Jericho as your champion. He should be champion for like the first year.
Yeah.
Like, no one should take this belt off of him.
It also gives some stability for, as you can figure things out as long as you've got some stability at the top. So Inner Circle and Jericho at the top. You got Moxley and the Bucks and Kenny, Pac circling. You've got some stability. You can experiment around that. And you can figure out what you want to do next. But I agree. Keep it on Jericho for the first year.
Yeah, at some point it's going to get old and people are going to be like, all right, we're sick of Jericho as champ. But you have to like really build up that moment.
Yeah.
When he finally loses.
It makes it even that much bigger too when they finally do.
Exactly. When it finally happens. So I don't think it should be now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sean. Next up, Jacob asks, what feuds matches would you like to see Killer Kross and Tim Thatcher have in WWE?
Well, Tim Thatcher is likely going to be a part of Imperium, and everyone that they face, whether it's Undisputed Era or all the guys over in NXT UK. I mean, if you've got Tim Thatcher in NXT, you have so many people that he could have matches with. Because a lot of them he's had matches with on the indies before. Like, he's had a long career.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of rematches from his career already. But in NXT, for like a bigger audience, having him against Matt Riddle, having him face off against Undisputed Era, Timothy Thatcher getting in the ring with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, and a match with Kushida. If he comes in and ends up being oppositional to Walter, Timothy Thatcher and Walter would be great. Him and Tyler Bate, who I don't know if they've ever had a match. That's one I have to check. I don't know if they ever did. There's a lot of talent in NXT that I'd love to see Timothy Thatcher face off with. The main roster, there's less people, but guys like Aleister Black or Ricochet, Seth Rollins, guys who can work that style would be fun. But also guys like guys who are more, ground and pound MMA style, Samoa Joe. And I don't know if they have time to build him up enough, but Brock Lesnar even would be fun. So there's a lot of guys for Timothy Thatcher. Killer Kross, I don't know if I'm as excited to see matches between him and people more than I am excited to see what they do with him in terms of a gimmick and feuds, because visually and presentationally, he's a great guy, but I think I need to see more from him in terms of where he would fit. Where is he going to land in WWE? Are they going to strap him? Are they going to rocket strap him? Can he hold up to that kind of pressure and performance? Because that's really going to determine a lot with him. I see him more as a not a celebrity, but like a figurehead, he's more of a character, whereas Timothy Thatcher is just a in-ring worker, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, that makes total sense.
So I think that with Kross, we have to establish that he can get over in WWE and their system with their style.
It's more about the presentation with Kross when it comes to that stuff. Yeah.
So, and when it comes to that, it's like, where does he land? Because I could see him, having feuds with guys like Adam Cole, Keith Lee, Dijak. On the main roster, he could be a good foil if he's heel. He could be a good foil to like a Roman Reigns, or if he's a face, putting him with a guy like Sheamus. Like those could be good things for Thatcher. Kevin Owens would be a good foil for him. Another guy, Samoa Joe, would be good with. So there's a lot of possibilities with both of these guys. With Timothy Thatcher, it's more like I want to see him work in a ring against these guys. With Killer Kross, it's like I want to see what they do in terms of his gimmick and how they present him. And then I think he could be visually interesting or like engaging with certain people. So
yeah. We know he can wrestle, but what's the thing?
I'm not
what's the
dissing
thing going to
that.
be when he gets there?
Yeah, I'm just more excited about Timothy Thatcher in ring than I am about Killer Cross.
Good
No
point.
dissing Killer Cross. It's Timothy Thatcher.
Right.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Next up, Martin asks, firstly, how much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
42.
Right. It's the answer to everything. Secondly, hello, fine sirs. And lastly, which NXT call-up which NXT call-up have the WWE messed up the most? What I mean is, in NXT, the wrestler was super over and had killer matches, but on the main roster, no one cares anymore. And how do you fix the issue? Aleister Black.
EC3. He had a 5-star match in NXT and nothing on main roster. I would say Lars Sullivan, but Lars Sullivan screwed up Lars Sullivan. WWE did not screw up Lars Sullivan.
Right.
He did that to himself.
Yeah.
It's hard because again, the what is he saying here? Who had great matches in NXT, was super over, and main roster no one cares. I mean, you could throw Bobby Roode into that. You could throw Ember Moon into that. There's a lot of people that came up in the early days of NXT that were over in NXT. Tyler Breeze, he had to go back down there. Kalisto.
Nikki Cross.
God. Nikki Cross, I think people still care about her. She still gets a pretty damn good reaction.
All right.
But who gives a crap when Kalisto comes out? That dude was tag champ of the Lucha Dragons, and we had everyone in the audience doing the Lucha thing. Here's another one that I think that people forget about, and I think that's more of the question here is, like, think about people that you may have forgotten about. Aiden English. Do you remember the reaction the Vaudevillains had when they came out and won the tag championships?
Yep.
Like when they came out with blue pants, like, my God, they were over. On the main roster, Simon Gotch out doing videos on YouTube. Aiden English, terrible angle with Rusev, commentator for 5 seconds and gone. Brutal.
Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow. Poor Simon Gott. He looks deflated over on MLW.
Yeah, dude. Someone's going up with that boy.
Yeah.
What other ones? I mean, Ascension. I don't know how.
I never really counted
I don't
them
know
as
they
like
were.
super over.
They were pretty over. They were given a pretty good run in NXT.
Yeah.
And they were just destroyed on the main roster. Who else? Now Enzo and Cass were super.
I keep circling. Yeah, they were. That was the hottest thing on Raw, man.
Yeah. Who else?
I keep going back to Aleister. I can't get my head out of Aleister Black because we're just so bent out of shape about it.
People care about him. They're still working on him. They're still giving him a chance. I don't think they're doing right by him, but they're giving him a chance.
But the experiment
and
isn't
they're
over.
making the experiment isn't over. They're making him look strong. They're still trying to make things work. I definitely felt skeptically optimistic after Raw this last week where they gave him the in-ring promo. He won that feud with Murphy very clean. They're not good at doing the presentation of his entrance. They're still figuring out what he is. But I think that with Aleister Black, they're definitely still trying hard.
Yeah.
They know they've got something big there. So I'm not giving up on Aleister Black at all yet. I'm talking about guys that just were destroyed. Like they were over. Remember how big Bobby Roode was, right? Dick heel in a suit. Glorious. Everyone's singing along to his stuff. Now, Shinsuke Nakamura singing along to his song, everything. And that's partly Shinsuke's fault too for just not having great matches. But man,
they screwed up his entrance by putting rap lyrics on top.
And also Sami Zayn. I mean, he's getting tons of TV time, but think about how much people cared about Sami Zayn in NXT. Think about how much they cared about him, how invested we were in him. He was the heart and soul for a while there. Now, he's Che Guevara, running a heel stable that can't win over on SmackDown,
right?
And hated. What? How did we get here? If you showed me Sami Zayn now, if you showed him now to me 5 years ago, I'd be horrified. What? 4 years ago? Oh my God, what have they done? What is this? So, yeah, and that's just off the top of my head, Nick. Like you said, I try to get these questions cold. That's off the top of my head. I'm sure if we research, we could find more. But oh yeah, them. Oh man, that's bad.
Who are the well, they're back in an angle now, but 3 months ago I would have said AOP.
AOP's fine. Heavy Machine, yeah, a while back they would, but they were injured, so I think that was, that's fine.
Yeah.
Lacey's fine. Heavy Machinery's fine. Like a lot of the call-ups,
fine.
Like
yeah.
a lot. Kyrie, I'm worried about, but at least she's doing a lot of stuff.
She'll be fine.
Yeah. So there's a lot that like we were worried about for a while, but like in the context of this, like who's just a belly flop on the main roster.
A year ago, I would have said Drew.
Aiden English, I'd say, got to be one of my number ones.
Yeah,
Aiden English, EC3, like Jesus, just ouch.
I was really worried about Drew last year.
Yeah, well, yeah, but now looking back, hindsight being 2020, I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
they had to wait for the right time, and honestly, they had to get through the Seth experiment.
Yeah, good point.
So.
Good question, Martin. Thank you very much. Next up, our current BWO Patron Pick'ems champion. All hail the champ. Chris White. How are you, sir? It's fair to say we all hate the WWE doing business with Saudi Arabia. Fair. That being said, if the WWE were to release a statement saying that we can't afford the network without doing business with Saudi Arabia, would we be okay with that?
No. What the hell are you doing wrong that you can't afford your network? What shenaniganry are you doing that you can't afford your network without Saudi Arabia money? No, no, that would actually create way more questions and way more problems if they said that.
Ian, I need to interject here and pause. I think the apocalypse might be starting. A zombie just left us $1 in the tip jar.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming back from the dead. And
just please don't try to eat our brains. I'm not sure if that's some anonymous thing that the tip engine does or if that's your actual name, but thank you, Zombie.
Zombie.
Yeah. Brain's not good. Is it?
Brains are delicious.
No, it's not okay. It wouldn't be okay. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. A little bit less now after the last week, but
there is
money.
There is nothing that they could do to make them taking Saudi Arabia money okay.
No.
When it comes to saying that they need that money for other things. You don't need that money.
No.
You are a business, and therefore you go after whatever money that you can go for, and fine, you're a business. I get it. You're just showing us that you have no moral bounds to what money and whose money you take. That's all it is. There is no financial explanation they could give as far as operating costs that would explain this.
Right.
It's other than we need this because we're a business and we're voracious and capitalistic and eat up all the money that we can. That's the only explanation. Literally the only explanation. Nothing else would explain it.
Yeah.
Period.
Thank you very much, champ. Great question. Absolutely not would be my answer. Would I be okay? No. In no way, shape, or form am I ever going to be okay with taking blood money.
Yep.
Period. Next up, Josh. If you could restart one promotion, what would it be? ECW, WCW, or Lucha Underground? Why and who would you want to recruit?
Oh my God. Okay.
I would have said NWA.
Right. I would have immediately, my first reaction here was ECW, but it's not like a restart, like all of a sudden it's the 90s again and Paul Heyman's running it and it's all of those crazy sons of bitches doing all that crazy crap they were doing back then. ECW did get restarted by WWE and it sucked.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way it's like the Attitude Era. You're never going to be able to recapture what ECW was back then. You're not.
Nope.
WCW.
Times have changed.
Times have changed. You could restart WCW, but one of the reasons WCW fell apart was because of the people that were working there. And there was a lot of good stuff about WCW, but it's not, if you restart it now, it's just going to be WCW in name, and it's just another wrestling promotion.
Trying to grasp at, nostalgia.
In some ways, AEW is kind of WCW, only it's, it doesn't have the same operating mentality or politics backstage.
Right.
So it is, its own unique thing. But in some ways, if you were to say, I'm going to restart WCW, well, you kind of have the closest thing you're going to get to it. You have a lot of old WCW guys in AEW. So that's the closest thing you can get to having WCW restart. So I'm actually going to go with.
Go ahead.
I was going to go with Lucha Underground.
I was going to say Lucha Underground as well, because with an asterisk, if you could convince El Rey to sell the rights to it outright.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of caveats.
Have an independent production, put it together, all of that
stuff. And if you could get everyone back on their contracts, create a different working environment where it's not like come in and film for 3 weeks and then you don't have to do anything for the rest of the year and whatever happens, happens. Like there's a lot of things that would have to change about how Lucha Underground was run for it to come back and continue and be viable. But dude, they left in the middle of a cliffhanger with that show. They had a lot of elements going that were really cool. And that is still one of my favorite wrestling programs of the last 20 years is Lucha Underground. And it was only 4 seasons. And I would say that season 2 is probably the best wrestling show I've watched in the last 10 years. And parts of season 1 and season 3 as well. Absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing show. And we have so many huge stars now because of that show. That came out during that show because of that, and like the amazing wrestling matches. That show is massively underrated. And if you could restart that with the people that were in it, you had people like Ricochet, Pentagon, Brian Cage, Daga, Luchasaurus, all the Jake Hager for a brief time, like all Phoenix, all the people that came out of that show. You even had at one point you had Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Momo Watanabe on that show. Like. It's insane to me the amount of talent that came through that show, and that's an abbreviated list, by the way, of people that were on that show. I didn't even know like the Mac, right? Evilise, Son of Havoc, and Helico.
Marty the Moth. Oh god,
Marty the Moth.
I hang out with Marty. Shout out to Marty in case you're listening, by the way. But
yeah, dude.
Hang out with him on his Twitch channel every now and then when I get a chance, and just a lot of fun, man.
But the amount of talent that came through that show, recruit that talent back, give it a better working environment, have a more like consistent, like give them money, give them freaking money. Rey Mysterio came through that show and was like the savior of that show for a while. Like Jeff Cobb, like it's crazy. So yeah, I think looking at it realistically, if I were to restart anything, ECW will never be what it was, but Lucha Underground could be.
Yep.
Obviously, not realistically, like it would be a long shot and everyone else is in contracts now, fine. But, that's the one I think could most be something that continues from where it left off.
You know what I was just thinking about? I wouldn't even be mad if they took it to Mexico and made it like a fantasy wrestling show down there and recruited a lot of AAA CMLL
Dude, they were
talent.
filming it in Boyle Heights with like half their talent from AAA. It was pretty much all the way. It was pretty there. It was almost there, dude. It was pretty much there.
Like full on like Spanish commentary, just all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see something like. I would love to see a Mexican luchador promotion in the United States.
Vampiro speaks Spanish, so you could do it.
Right. I speak enough. I mean, I could fill in for Stryker.
Lies and shenanigans. No, there you go.
Yo hablo.
Oh God! Don't do that anymore.
I'm just kidding.
Stop it.
Thank you very much, Josh. Great question. Next up, Patrick. If guys had complete control of all the women's... Wait, if you guys... Did he mean you guys?
If you guys.
If you guys had complete control of all the women's rosters in WWE and could move anyone around, how would you change the rosters to make them all a little more balanced? I feel like I've said this.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say it again.
I think the mistake was taking Becky and Charlotte both to Raw in the draft.
Okay. So would you put Charlotte on SmackDown?
Probably. She's.
Wouldn't she be too big of a fish in a small pond there?
Maybe, but I feel like she would be a big fish. Right now, there's no big fish on your show on Fox on primetime Friday nights. You got Bayley.
Yeah.
So I think the big mistake. Becky was inevitably going to Raw. Raw Women's Champion. It made a lot of sense. Charlotte. It still confuses me why they put her on Raw as well. Vince thinks it's the bigger show or something, whatever. But I think having Charlotte over there and everybody kind of circling around that dragon, as we always say, it would be a fantastic... That would even things out quite a bit. Lacey Evans versus Charlotte, fantastic.
I want to go... Well, a lot of people bitching about the fight of the blonde Amazon woman there.
Fine.
But I want to go back. I try to remember...
Carmella.
I want to try to remember what we said when they did the draft, because I remember like what we were saying. Okay, well, this is going to happen. That we were predicting stuff, And I want to say that I predicted that Sasha was going to go to Raw and Charlotte was going to go to SmackDown because that would have balanced it out more. And Sasha is on SmackDown not doing a damn thing right now, whether that's because of injury or whatever, but they needed someone else big on Raw. And it was Charlotte. And it's like, well, yeah, you've already done Charlotte and Becky to death, which is great because we got Asuka Bayley, which I've loved. That, well, yeah, and that probably might have been a big thing too. But we're getting Becky and Asuka out of it, which I love. I'm loving Becky and Asuka. It's my favorite women's feud on the main roster, which is not hard to do, but it's been one of my favorite ones for the last year. Like since Ronda Becky, this is my favorite one. But aside from that, like part of the problem is how they've been utilizing the women on these rosters. It's not just who's where. It's that now Carmella is a contender and came out of nowhere. We haven't done anything with Carmella in how long? Natalia over on Raw is she's also the Swiss Army knife woman, where she just shows up randomly and does things and then leaves, which is great. But you've got to have more consistency with how you present characters.
Yeah.
For example, and I hate to do this again because it seems repetitive, but look at NXT. Do you have some Swiss Army women down there? Yes. But they're portrayed consistently enough that we care about them. Whereas Natty we never know if we're face Natty or heel Natty or what kind of Natty we have. Who do we have in this match? We don't know. It's hard to care, and we don't know what to expect from them.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that they need to do at this point, I hate to say it, is bring up some talent from NXT and fill out SmackDown. I think Raw will be fine. Again, Shayna Baszler's coming to Raw on Monday. And I'm saying it like it's fact now, by the way, because to me it's fact.
Yeah.
So you're going to have even more talent show up on Raw. It looks like Charlotte's going to dip down and have a feud in NXT, so that's going to take her off Raw. So Raw, I think, is still going to be fine. But there's still the problem of SmackDown. And SmackDown right now is, frankly, because of their booking, kind of a wasteland.
It's floundering.
Like you've got Naomi, you have Alexa Bliss. Those are the big people that people connect with. People aren't really connecting with Bayley that much outside of her hometown. Sasha's barely on TV enough to connect with her. They were doing well with Lacey, and then she vanished. So this week was actually, I think, for me at least, very disheartening with the SmackDown Women's Division. And I would say they need to inject it with some more talent if they can't figure out what they can do with the women that they have there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if shuffling around is going to help that. You know what I mean? Like who would you shuffle besides Charlotte? Leave Charlotte off the table. She's down in NXT. With people that are on Raw and people that are on SmackDown, who would you flip? Like if we're not talking about bringing up NXT talent, who would you flip from show to show? Like trade Sasha Banks for Kairi Sane or whatever. Like who would you do?
I think you're right on with infusing some new talent.
I'm saying you don't get to do that. You get to just flip talent from Raw to SmackDown. Like a trade. Are there any women you would trade from Raw to SmackDown just to infuse SmackDown with a little bit more excitement? Or are they just screwed on SmackDown?
I'm struggling to think of anybody that I would send down there.
Yeah. This is why I think this is a good question, Patrick. Thank you. Is that it's
it highlight. I mean, we didn't even mention Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, who are down there as well. That they won't give an opportunity to either one of them. They're effectively jobbers.
Mandy's in a romance angle, so
fine. Let's see if it actually goes anywhere. 2, she's a damn bodybuilder. Just put her out there and let her fight. Let her get some wins.
Liv Morgan's on Raw, and looks like she's going to get into a feud with Ruby Riott on Raw. So one more thing going on Raw that's like a better feud than anything in the women's division on SmackDown.
You could have brought Ruby back to SmackDown.
Yep, that would have been a good one. Have both of them, Liv and Ruby, both come to SmackDown. You could have had the Liv Ruby thing on SmackDown, or any kind of Ruby comes back as a face and she and Liv team back up, or whatever. There could all kinds of dynamics you could have done, but they came back to Raw. And like, I obviously we don't know what the feud's going to be yet. If Lana's going to be involved, then we're all going to want to kill ourselves, or if it's just going to be Ruby and Liv, which I would prefer. I don't know about you, but you could have had that feud on SmackDown.
Yeah,
I don't think SmackDown would have handled it as well, because they don't seem to be able to handle that stuff well right now. But right there's a couple you could have flipped over.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question, Patrick.
Love that one. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Depressing,
next up,
but
yeah, it highlights the problem,
Yeah.
and I equate it a lot to what's going on in AEW. You have a lot of people that either people aren't familiar with or don't believe in that you're trying to tell us are contenders.
Right.
And that's kind of the same symptom.
We don't believe it. We don't believe that we know Naomi's a contender. We know Carmella is not a contender.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Even Dana Brooke on an off chance in a fatal 4-way,
No, that's
potentially
you.
getting a thing.
That's just you.
All right. No. Okay.
That's just you.
Thanks, Patrick. Next up, Will. I always enjoy a big Intercontinental U.S. ladder match to open up WrestleMania. Who would you fantasy book to be in a U.S. title ladder match for Mania, especially since guys like Andrade, Rey, Humberto, and Garza are floating around the picture? I mean,
you just booked it.
Please.
There.
Put it in
right.
my eye holes just like that.
Like, you want to do like a full-on, like, get all the luchadors in your company, sweep them up into one barrel, and have a cruiserweight championship match to open the whole show, ladder match. Just have like a cruiserweight ladder battle royale.
I want Lindsay and Metalik in there too.
I want Leo Rush in there. Like, just all kinds of just insane cruiserweights flying all over the place in a ladder match. Like, no, absolutely. Andrade, Rey, Humberto, Angel, the Lucha House Party, and then throw in a couple of other cruiserweights who can really just, do crazy crap like Leo Rush. And done. That's my match of the night. You've got put Mustafa Ali in there. Cedric Alexander, make him part of it too. Like, yes.
How many?
All the little guys.
I'm thinking the other way around too. How about the big boys?
What
big
about
boys doing big stuff? What if we had like a 300 plus only match? Like, I'm trying to think of who we had. Like, if you had a Braun Strowman, Otis Dozovic.
How many? I don't think Otis is even over 3, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
330, I think he is.
That's got to be worked. That can't be his shoot weight.
Yes,
he's like 280.
Google machine. Otis Dozovic.
You're not that tall. I mean, Tucker might be. Tucker's a big boy.
Oh, let's see. 330 pounds is what he's billed at.
That's what he's billed at.
Yeah.
That's what he's billed at.
All right. Yeah.
But again, like, fine. If we go by build weight, sure. Otis, Braun, Keith Lee, Dijak. Is Dijak's 3+, isn't he?
I think he's 275, 285. He's a big boy, but
he's a big boy.
I think he's got defensive end stats.
Have him put on some pounds to be in the max.
Right.
Have that be his story. He's like, I want to be in that match. I'm like, you're not big enough, Dijak. Is what? Look at me. I'm 6'7".
We're gonna have the offensive lineman ladder match. 300 plus only.
He's gonna go put on weight to get in the match.
Right.
He's gonna make weight. Dijak has to make weight to be in the match.
All right. I'll make it fair. 275 plus.
All right, 275 plus. 280 and above.
I'm just big
I think
boys
Samoa
doing
Joe
big
could
spots.
be at that.
Yeah,
Samoa Joe could be in at that
Joe's
point.
290, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be so down for that match, too. Like, just the Haas match.
Hell yes.
Mm-hmm.
Haas ladder match. Oh man, that's a good one. Yeah, but I think having the luchadors doing crazy fly around stuff
either
all
way
over the place.
All big boys, all little boys. Either way, that's
both of
give me
those
that
are
ladder
good.
match. Give me that ladder match.
You got
Yummy.
Braun. We got Braun with the Intercontinental title right now. Maybe you can put it on the line in a Haas ladder match.
Doing. There go the nipples.
Thank you very much, Will. Next up, Bill, whichever one you prefer.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy. Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, Bill.
Hello.
With the return of Edge, I got to thinking about his theme song. It's very inspirational and uplifting. Didn't quite fit when he was the top heel, but it works perfectly today. What wrestlers, any company, have the perfect theme song for their character today? The Fiend and Rhea Ripley come to mind.
Cody,
yeah.
Cody Rhodes, Will Ospreay, Aleister Black, off the top of my head. The lyrics literally reflect who they are, what they are. I'm just thinking of like lyrics-wise. And not everyone has lyrics in their songs.
You could throw Nakamura in there.
I guess. Yeah.
I remember reading once, I think you said it here on the show too, the translation of what his lyrics were.
When he was champion, okay, I'm gonna get controversial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that actually reminded me of something. When he was champ and when they were pushing him as like the top dude, Jinder Mahal, like, lest we all forget, his entrance song that they made for him was a banger. And if you translate it, it's badass. Like, that's a badass theme song. So when he was like, you know, the conquering bad guy with that theme song, it actually really worked. Actually was very appropriate. Like, yeah, I know, Jinder, champ. I know. But go listen to that song in the context of like a dominant heel. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Especially on the other side of the world, India specifically, he came across as a very big face. And it kind of
with
had
that song. Yeah,
with the
listen
same
to that
context.
song.
Yeah.
Sure. Exactly.
He said also everyone should check out Humberto and Angel Garza's Uncle Hector, a true legend, especially his work in pioneering the TNA X Division. I know TNA sucks, but the X Division is responsible for many. I don't think TNA sucked. I know, but the X Division is responsible for many of our current favorites and stars. Great day, everyone, and thanks for all for being awesome. Thank you, Bill.
Yo, in the chat, Marshall, AJ's TNA theme, I am. Totally, dude.
Oh, nailed it.
Nailed it. Totally. Forgot about that one. That's very true. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Uncle Hector. You have any memories of Uncle Hector in the X Division?
Yeah, dude. He was badass.
I mostly remember.
I don't know. Did he say TNA sucks? TNA didn't suck.
TNA didn't suck.
Yes, it did, kind of. Sometimes.
Okay,
but
fine.
sometimes, like you said, also sometimes it was freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I was just rewatching Kurt Angle's debut with when he debuted in TNA
with Styles.
He comes out
the feud with Styles.
No, the feud with Joe.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
He headbutts Joe and hardways him. The first thing he does is get in the ring with Joe.
I remember now.
And it was insane. But sorry, we're talking about Hector Garza and the X Division. the X Division. That's the thing, is the X Division was, I think, maybe I'm going crazy here, but I felt like it was kind of the spiritual successor to the WCW Cruiserweight division, where you had guys doing crazy shit, and they got really creative with the X Division with some of like the crazy like scaffold matches and stuff.
Yeah.
And the cage matches and whatnot. Like there was a bunch of just
CZW inspiration in there.
Insane stuff, yeah, that they were doing. And yeah, Hector Garza was a big part of that. So good call, Billy. Like that's well worth going and like researching, Googling. Maybe I'll put some of those up in the group.
Where do you watch old TNA stuff now?
You know, I know that they put Impact has a lot of it up on their YouTube page. I forget if the full history of TNA is up on Fight TV right now. I'll have to go on and check. It's been a while since I went and looked at that. But I remember a while back we were saying that they uploaded a lot of their old stuff. And I forget if it's on Fight TV or where they have it. Anyone in the chat, if you know off the top of your head, maybe I'll just Google it real quick.
We don't have to solve that problem right now, but I mean, I'm curious. Like, if we wanted to go, like, we could go find matches or specific things that happened, entrances, etc., that happened on YouTube. But I would love to go back and watch through. Marshall says Impact Plus.
Impact, I literally just found it. Yeah, Impact Plus has it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. And I know they do a lot of throwback stuff on Twitch every now and then too.
Yeah.
That's another place you can catch it. But I mean, that's ad hoc. You have to be lucky. Oh, thank you very much, Bill. That's a good one. Thank you for reminding me of the X Division too, man. I hadn't talked about that in a while.
Apparently it's on Hulu too. I don't know.
Is it really?
That's what it says.
Huh.
I've been
thank
watching
you,
on
Bill.
a fight. What do I know?
Yep. Next up, Abraham. Abraham says, "What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up, man? That's all. That was my question this week. Thanks.
Oh,
you're welcome.
What's up? Okay, well, look at your feet. Look at the floor. It's the opposite of that. So whatever the opposite of the floor is, that's up.
There's a fan, and I've got a vent and some lights, some nice recessed lighting here in the studio.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What's
Thanks,
up?
Abraham.
Up is a Pixar movie that has probably the most devastating opening of any children's movie I've ever seen.
That's
what's up.
I can never watch that again.
I will watch Up, but I got to skip the first 20 minutes. Like, you can't do that to me.
No.
That opening bit just absolutely like I'll watch Finding Nemo, man. I'll eat popcorn while his mom gets eaten by a damn barracuda or whatever it was. But like, you give me the opening of Up, and I'm done. I'm like, nope, there is no movie that can follow this. Screw this kid. Screw this dog. F this movie. I'm out.
Yep.
I'm done. What are you? F you, Pixar.
Yeah. Did Widow Ian Manquai?
Oh no, not man. Ugly cry. Like,
Ugly cry.
Just, why? What is this movie?
This is a kids movie? You guys gotta be crazy.
There's more after this? Like snot everywhere. Like I'm like Spider-Man, only it's coming out of my nose, you know.
Yeah. That's gonna make me ugly cry. Oh.
So that's what's up.
Thank you very much, Abraham. Next up, Esme. Good old Esme. Hey, fellas, Double or Nothing is coming around again. Do you see Lance Archer making an appearance there?
Strong possibility. I wish I want to go, but I'm going to be in Ireland at that time, so unfortunately I will not be able to make the Double or Nothing.
What is the date? I haven't heard this. I've been out of touch a little this week.
May 20.
Memorial Day again.
20, yeah. The Saturday.
That weekend. Yeah, good luck getting a hotel room in Vegas on Memorial Day.
Yeah, what are they doing?
For less than $500 a night.
Yeah, May 23rd.
God. All right.
Yep. That will be brutal. So I'm actually might be lucky that I'm in Ireland watching Sid Linning, or however you pronounce it. Ireland listeners, help me. How do you pronounce that so I don't look like an idiot when I come over to your beautiful country and watch some of your Irish wrestling? Linning. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Esme. Yes, I
like
really hope so. Do we see Lance Archer? I hope so.
Yes. I'm not 100%. Like, more has to happen, but it's a very strong possibility.
Right now, he's still running around doing New Beginnings. So
yes, he is. Well, he's in contract negotiations.
Sure, but you know, he might have been the breakout star of the year in New Japan in 2019, coming off that G1 thing. I'm trying to think. I mean, Moxley absolutely.
I was going to say,
and had
Moxley was already
performance,
at a certain level,
but he was already there.
Yeah,
like
he
Archer,
came in hot.
That first match of the warm up in Dallas with Will Ospreay.
If you take a dude who was at a certain level before this, and he was a tag team guy, you know, with Davy Jones.
Horror! We be sending him down to Davy Jones' locker.
Yeah. Well, with Bulldog's kid. If you
Davy Smith
Davy
Jr.
Boy Smith.
Davy Boy
Jr.
Smith.
David Jones. That's Moxley right now.
Right, exactly.
With his eye patch.
Yarr.
Moxley Jones.
That's one of me favorite voices to do.
Sailing the
is a pirate.
Of Mox. Oh, is it? Do it be that now?
It is, yes.
All right. We couldn't tell our poor listeners right now. Yeah. So he was in a tag team with Davy Boy Smith Jr. And they were awesome. The Killer Elite Squad. They were a great tag team. But then Davey went off and did other things and left Lance all alone. And you talk about a guy that was at a certain level. He'd been tag team champ before, like obviously had some love from the brass in New Japan, but was breaking off on his own and had the opportunity to be a big deal, was in the G1, was allowed to be in the G1, and took that opportunity, took that ball and ran all the way to the house. That'd be Lance Archer. Like when you say in terms of like breakout star, a guy who elevated himself from being at a certain level to percentage-wise a higher level, I have a hard time thinking of anyone who elevated their position further, faster than Lance Archer. Totally agree. Yeah. To the point now where, he could look at a place like AEW and they're now looking at him and going, let's pay that man some money.
Hell yes.
We need some more big dudes. Let's get like a big dude who can go and do a Spanish fly off the top rope if we ask him to.
Terrifying.
So yeah. Could we see him at Double or Nothing? Absolutely. We could see him before that.
Yeah.
Would that be an awesome debut though for Lance Archer? Yeah, that'd be an awesome debut.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
So, yeah.
Good question. Oh God, you got me excited now, Esme.
I know.
And last but certainly not least, Marshall. Thank you very much, Marshall. If we can step into merch corner for a minute. Marshall, in case you don't know, is a big-time collector has all of the Funkos, the figures, the T-shirts, all of that stuff. So I'm guessing that's where we're going to go here.
Okay.
What is your process when buying a wrestling shirt? Is it always your favorite wrestler, or do sometimes you go for the design? Thanks all for the great recaps.
Sir, thank you. You want to go first in this, Nick? Because I have a feeling we're going to have very different. You are currently wearing a wrestling shirt. Monster.
I've had it for a couple of years now. Whenever they've debuted the Monster Among Us shirt.
Yeah.
I've got a Braun figure and a Braun thing back there, and I like Braun.
I have a Marty Skrull shirt behind me, but I'm currently wearing a Don Julio shirt, so I guess.
You normally have, so you have a lot of shirt. You have more shirts than I do. You've got your tank tops. You got your Dusty Sucks Eggs. You got your Pentagon. You know.
Yeah, I guess so. Why don't you go about your process first, and I'll explain my process, because I have a feeling they're very different.
It's a combination of the two. Like if I love a superstar, I'm going to look at their merch, and if I see a shirt that they've got that I like, I'll get it. So it was love at first sight for this one specifically, and then the one that I got from Ricochet at PWG that night was, I felt guilty about asking him to do a promo while I smelled like beer vomit. And so I wanted to hand him $20 for a T-shirt. It just so turns out that it's a really cool T-shirt that says the old King Ricochet, his old brand on it. So
that was kind of why I've got the Marty Skrull shirt too, because I was never like a dude that wanted to go to a show wearing a Bullet Club shirt, because like everyone was doing that, and I would have felt bad. But at the same time, I'm having a conversation with Marty Skrull. He's sitting in front of all of his merch, and I felt bad, like, just talking to the dude and not supporting him. So I actually got the Marty Skrull shirt here because I felt bad. I wanted to support Marty and give him some money for the shirt.
I feel bad that I didn't. The night that I got the here's a fun story for you. We were at the Globe, PWG. I think it was 3 minutes. No, Keith Lee was there when we got the Keith Lee.
It was when he was champ.
I think he was defending.
Yeah, it was.
Walter.
No, it was the night he became champ. Was what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. When he beat. Oh, damn it.
It wasn't the Walter match that he was defending against Walter.
No, it was. Oh, God damn it.
Anyway, Keith Lee is down there in PWG before the match. And Ian and I would go down and see the wrestlers.
Chucky T. Why am I?
Thank you.
He beat Chucky T for it. Chucky T beat Ricochet, and then Keith Lee beat Chucky. Okay.
There we go. Thank you. Keith Lee was standing down there, and I asked him to do a bumper for us. I didn't hit record.
Good job, buddy.
I don't know
you're the tech guy too.
How many hundreds of podcast episodes I've done, even to that point. In 2017, 18, whenever that was. And I've never had a situation where I didn't hit record. And I think it was because we were using the iPhone recorder, voice recorder thing. I thought it was recording, and it wasn't. So I had to ask him to do it again. And he just, like, nothing. You guys have heard it, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of times on the show here. But that was the second take because I didn't hit record. And I was so frazzled and frustrated and mad at myself, and I felt so guilty that I just ran away as quick as I could and said, thank you. And I regret it every day that I didn't turn around and buy a shirt or two from that dude, because look where he is now. I didn't even – I feel so horrible that I didn't – and especially now that all the stories like are coming out, and you guys have seen those vignettes on NXT about tough times.
He could have used the damn money, Nick.
I was like, oh, God, I feel like such a dirtbag.
He didn't eat that night because you didn't buy a shirt. Way to go, dude. Oh, man.
It tears into my heart.
Aside from that, so aside from like live show guilt, when you're just sitting at home,
it's somebody I like first, and then I gotta like their shirt second.
Yeah. Agreed. It's funny because I get like weird obsessively collectory about certain things where I've got like, I have like a nasty vinyl habit, and I've got like a whole bunch of shelf of comic books and I've just a ton of books everywhere. Like, there's certain things that I like go crazy about collecting.
Right.
Wrestling memorabilia isn't one of them for some reason. And like, I'm very, very picky and specific about the stuff that I get. and one of those things is shirts. And I very rarely get shirts just because I feel like it, like unless I'm motivated, like we were saying, out of guilt at a live show or like wanting to support that wrestler personally or whatever. Like,
right.
There was a time, and those of you who listen to the podcast consistently for a while know that this is something that Steve of Steven Larson from Going in Raw used to make fun of me for. There was a time when WWE had an online store called the Shop Zone, where I used to get like I had a ton of wrestling shirts. I had a Kurt Angle shirt, a Triple H, awesome like hockey tee. Like there was all kinds of shirts that I had, and then I just hit a point where I'm good, and I don't really do it anymore. I don't really get shirts, but I do get custom shirts, like the Dusty Sucks Egg shirt is a custom made shirt. The Pentagon shirt I have is a custom made shirt. I like having shirts that, I did.
They mean something to you.
They mean something to me. Right. Exactly. So it's very rare that there's very rare that I see a shirt design that I like.
Yeah.
Very rare. So usually like it's a design that I put together or I've seen somewhere. I have a Keith Lee tank top. It's the one that I think I've worn on the show a couple times. So you may have seen it. But it's the King of Saiyans one.
Oh yeah.
Where it's a Keith Lee Pro Wrestling King of Saiyans. And that was one that he was selling out of his online store, and it didn't actually exist anymore. So I actually had to find the graphic for it and put it back together because it no longer existed.
Huh.
But it is a shirt that once upon a time existed, but it just didn't anymore. So yeah, but that's how I do wrestling shirts now, is unless it's in person and the money's going straight to the wrestler, or it's a present for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like your lovely Nia Jax t-shirt behind you now.
Oh yeah, you guys can see.
Yeah.
Move that out of the way.
There, look at this. Yeah. For Christmas, I gave JB a Charlotte Flair t-shirt that was really awesome. Actually looks really good. She's, as we all know, she's an enormous Charlotte mark. But yeah, aside from that, like I pretty much don't really go on WWE that much, and I don't buy like wrestling shirts, I guess.
Yeah, I lost my appetite for spending $30 to $40 on T-shirts. Between bands and wrestlers, it feels like a bit much. I like where we're at on TeePublic, and if I can get the store up, Pro Wrestling Tees, it's about $20. $20 is a digestible number for me to spend on a T-shirt. That
right.
Most of the time, all I wear is T-shirts. Even when I'm working, a lot of the times I wear a fun geeky T-shirt with a sport coat, right?
Right.
Because it's just it's like California chic, geek chic kind of stuff, right?
I'm a tank top guy myself.
Right.
Tank top and a button up.
So, I do love a good geeky T-shirt, but a lot of them, I don't know, at $30 to $40, I just can't swallow.
Because you're a collector, what is your I'm curious, and this actually goes for all of our listeners, like what about a shirt gets you guys going? What do you hate about some of the merch shirts that are out there? Like, what do you want out of a shirt? What do you want out of a wrestling piece of merch? Like, not even if it doesn't have to be a T-shirt, like a piece of merch, whether it's Rusev Day socks or Alexa Bliss gloves or whatever, Tommaso Ciampa crutches. Like, what out of a piece of wrestling merch? What is it that you go towards? Like, if you want to collect it, or if you want to have that or own it or wear it out, like what flips your wig, I guess. What gets you going?
I'd also love to hear.
Let's put that in the Facebook discussion group, because that's something I would love to see discussed.
Are taking seat cushions home from pay-per-views, big pay-per-views, does that encourage you to drop $200 to $300 on the ticket, knowing that you'll be able to take that thing home? Stuff like that.
Wait a minute, Marshall's in the chat right now. Actually, he says, "I hate black shirts." Jesus, how do you shop wrestling sites? They're all black. If I see a shirt that isn't black, I go crazy. You go crazy as in you like have to get it, I think. Yeah. Not a lot of wrestling shirts aren't black.
You should open up my 2 drawers of T-shirts. 93% of them are black.
I was gonna say he'd hate my closet. It's just like I've actually had the hardest time. A little bit of insight, like weird, funny insight. And then we got to shut this down. I have the hardest time on this show finding wardrobe because all I wear is black. And you're supposed to have like vibrant colors on these, because we're on YouTube now. Popping colors and all this stuff. And I see guys on all the other podcast shows, whether it's Going Raw or What Culture or Cultaholic, and they've all got like fancy bright shirts on, and I'm like, how do you do that?
Mm.
I can't put myself in those. Like it's hard for me to wear any color that isn't black or red.
The one that has my attention right now is Rhea Ripley. And she's got a shirt that's written in like Cannibal Corpse letters that says brutality, and her face
Yeah,
that's my kind of shirt.
The new Keith Lee shirt is not black. That's true. Also, the new Revival shirt, not black. It's bright yellow, and it's actually pretty cool. So they are working with some more colors right now. AJ Styles, a lot of blue shirts. Yeah, so they are out there, but my God, there's a lot of black shirts.
There's one I've been thinking about getting. It's the Morrow shirt, where it says Mamma Mia, and it's got him just freaking out. That one's really good. I'm looking for the Keith Lee one that I'm just not seeing it though. Oh, Legion,
Legion.
Limitless Legion.
Yeah, it's like a gray.
That's okay. It's
kind of standard,
Keith, but it's like I would like to have a plain old NXT one, like the brand logo shirt, but I'm not giving him $30 for it. That's where I have a problem. I have to be at a show. Like, I love going to smaller band shows or smaller venues, and they're there just hawking T-shirts for $15, right?
Yep, love that.
Love that kind of stuff. And it's a moment, it's a memory. It's, and I think one of the qualifiers for me, you guys see, I have all kinds of tchotchkes and shit back here. A lot of it is associated with memories or things that I want to remember or moments in time. Like, you can see, I've got some Overwatch Funko Pops over here. I see you've got some for wrestlers back there behind. I know. But for about a year or 2 years, I was extremely into competitive Overwatch. Like, I played it constantly, all day, every day, for reasons we won't go into. But I look at that and I go, oh, yeah, I remember that time when X, Y, Z, right? So that's is there a time that I can remember? Is there a memory that I can associate with a piece of merch in some way or another?
I mean, I've got a whole, like, right behind me here, I've got my tiki mug collection, like 2 shelves stocked full of tiki mugs, and I know where each one came from, So
that's the important thing for me, is the memory.
Agreed, the memory.
Yeah.
No, I'd be curious, and I'd also like to know, like, what's everyone's favorite piece of merch that they own? Maybe a question back for you listeners. Like, put that in the Facebook discussion group. What is the favorite piece of merch that you own, with pick if possible?
I know Austin and Justice are pretty fond of their BWO tumbler cups.
Because those are awesome, dude.
They're
like,
fantastic.
I look at those and I'm like, I want one of those.
Yeah.
Crap.
If they made a Yeti, one of those really high-end Yetis that keep drinks cool for hours.
Do we make BWO like coolers, like big full-size like coolers?
Nah, I don't think T-Public has those.
Let's get on that.
We'll see if we can do it.
All right.
Well, guys, that's the show for today. Thank you very much for joining us right here on the Patron Mailbag series of Busted Wide Open. We love doing these, man. It gives us a chance to just hang out with you guys and maybe not talk wrestling all the time, even though a lot of them are. And I would encourage you guys, they don't always have to be wrestling questions. I love the merch question. It makes me think of things a whole different way. It's related to wrestling.
It's got to be at least tertiarily related to wrestling somehow.
I mean,
this isn't an AMA.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
still a wrestling show.
That's fine. But if you have questions that aren't related to wrestling, I'm open to them.
Okay.
Fine. As always, guys, BWOpodcast.com. Find all the links for all the places to follow us. Make sure you're doing that. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/bustedwideopen. Oh, God, I can feel the race. We're going to be on the back 9 of this race to 1,000 subscribers here very, very soon. Please tell your friends. Please get everybody to subscribe, because we get there and a lot of fun things happen and a lot of monetization options open up for us to be able to take this show and make it even bigger. So it's very, very important to us, and thank you for all your support helping us get there. Patrons.
Coming up next, episode 200, Nick. Can you believe that?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That just
Tuesday show is episode 200.
Holy smokes. So, guys, tell your friends, be there for the 200th episode live stream Tuesday night at 8 p.m.
Are we doing anything special for it, or is it just going to be an episode?
I think I'm going to freak out the whole time.
Should we do a drunk episode?
Is that
just like,
I don't know.
Just like we're drinking heavily, just be silly.
As long as you're not pouring.
What do you guys want us to do? What do you guys want us to do for our 200th episode? How about that? We'll leave it in your guys' hands. If you're listening to us right now, let us know what you want to hear on our 200th episode, and we'll go from there. But it is our next episode.
I would,
so there you go.
Considering this is live streamed and I actually have like a job and a career that would frown upon that, I'm not sure that's the best idea.
Well, maybe I'll just do a trunk show.
Yeah.
That's going to be the booking episode. All right.
That's going to be the Nick booking episode. You're going to be hammered.
Home, Nick. Let's take this home.
Thank you guys very much. And a special shout out to all of our patrons for all of your support. You are the reason this entire show, the Patron Mailbag series, exists. Thank you for that. And if you guys want to get in on some of those exclusive rewards, patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of those. You're going to want to be a part of it come WrestleMania. We'll be doing where Chris White, current BWO Patron Pick'ems champion, will be defending his current title for the first time here at the beginning of April. I do have some things I want to talk to you guys about as well when it comes to Tampa in April, but I will post those in the group and see if there is an appetite for it after I talk to Sir Ian about it first.
Indeed.
But my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God, somebody stop the damn back!
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.